And I'm going to define the 6 trigonometric functions in the right triangle first. So with respect to theta, we have the side opposite, the adjacent, and the hypotenuse of the right triangle. So there are 6 trig functions. The sine of theta is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. Cosine of theta is adjacent over the hypotenuse, and tangent is equal to opposite over adjacent. Now maybe you've had ways of remembering each one of these over the years. If you don't have one, I can give you one here. 3 words that you might use here: soft, cash, and toga, of which the P, the S, and the G don't have anything to do with the problem. So sine is opposite over adjacent, opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. So the cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So that's the hypotenuse over the opposite. Secant is reciprocal of cosine, hypotenuse over adjacent. And cotangent is reciprocal of tangent, which is adjacent over opposite. So we have the sine and cosecant are reciprocals. Cosine and secant are reciprocals of each other, and tangent and cotangent are reciprocal functions of each other. Now, because of the last 3 that I just did, I can write that the sine of theta times the cosecant of theta equals 1. Cosine of theta times secant of theta equals 1. And the tangent of theta times the cotangent of theta equals 1. Now, a common mistake that people make is when we're finding the sine of a particular angle. For example, I might have the sine of theta equals 3/5. It's not the sine equals 3/5. That doesn't exist. You have to have the sine, cosine, tangent, cotangent, cosecant, secant of an angle. There must be an angle there. So if you write sine equals 3/5, you're going to lose credit, because there has to be an angle to which you're finding the trig function of. Okay, let me show you that the tangent of theta is equal to sine of theta over cosine of theta. So the sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, and cosine is equal to adjacent over the hypotenuse. So if you take the numerator and multiply by the reciprocal of the denominator and divide out like factors, you get the opposite over the adjacent, which is tangent. So in the same way, the cotangent then is the cosine of theta divided by the sine of theta.